PrisonPolicy.org asks, how is it possible that the United States contains about 5% of the world population, yet we have about 25% of the world prison population? There is much to be said about the United States penitentiary system, whether you think it's okay the way it is, or whether you're like me and believe that it's corrupted and it demands change. One of the biggest changes it needs is the eradication of the privatization of prisons. Private prisons are prisons that are run by companies that work in order to make profit out of the incarcerated. You may not think much of prisoners, but these prisoners are just as human as you and me. Imagine somebody having money and making that money from your mistakes and your suffering. Somebody making money out of your regrets. By the end of this presentation, you will support the end of the privatization of prisons, because private prisons build unqualified workers. There's an incentive to do a bad job, and finally, there may be a potential zero benefit cost to your pocket. To begin, a key difference between the public and private prisons is staff. The staff, specifically the correction officers, have an immense dissimilarity between the public and private sector. In the article, Private and Public Sector Prisons, a comparison of select characteristics, written by Curtis R. Blakely and Vic W. Bumfus, the writers mentioned that in terms of minimum salaries, private sectors paid their new officers about $5,000 less than their public sectors. And the difference of the maximum salaries is about $15,000 less. In terms of training, the private sector required about 58 less hours than that of the public sector. Blakely and Bumfus have also reported that the private sector's correctional officers' turnover rate is about 28% less than the public sector. With this in mind, we have to ask ourselves, why would a private sector do this? This leads me to my second point. Private prisons such as CoreCivic and GEO Group, have an incentive to do a bad job. To elaborate, correctional facilities are constructed in order to punish and rehabilitate. Sadly, private prisons only work to punish. This increases recidivism, or the act of an offender to be reincarcerated. CoreCivic and GEO know how to receive the most profit by reincarcerating individuals. According to American Civil Liberty Union, both CoreCivic and GEO Group received a combined revenue of $3 billion. The executives spend less effort on rehabilitating inmates than public prisoners in order to receive a substantial amount of profit. Finally, private prisons claim to save the government from too much money. However, they actually could cost taxpayers more money in the future. These private companies are said to construct penitentiaries that are more suitable for the prisoners. Some will pay more money to buy better equipment for the correctional officers, or to invest in better meals, beds, etc. However, exactly how is renovating a former public prison into a Motel 6 for the inmates saving money? Also, according to researchers Richard J. Kish and Amy F. Lipton, private companies pay investigators to falsify information to support their cause. So, in conclusion, you should support the end of private prisons because they build underqualified workers. There is a financial incentive to do a bad job. And finally, there may be a zero cost benefit to your pocket. Thank you.